Greetings everyone, I am Dr. Anila, reader from Department of Conservative Dentistry and Endodontics, Siba Institute of Dental Sciences, Guntur. Today I will be demonstrating isolation of operating field using rubber dam. The goals of isolation are to control the moisture of the operating field, protection and retraction of the soft tissues, to prevent the accidental swallowing of the small instruments, as well as to improve the quality and properties of the dental materials. There are various methods of isolation. The direct method include cotton rolls, cellulose wafers, throat shields, saliva ejectors, high volume evacuators, as well as rubber dam. Rubber dam is one of the most important armamentarium in the field of isolation. Now we will discuss about rubber dam. Rubber dam was first introduced by S.C. Barnum in 1864. Coming to the indications of rubber dam, it is mainly used in endodontic procedures, adhesive restoration, excavation of deep caries lesion, tooth whitening procedures. And the contraindication include whenever the patient has any breathing problem such as asthma and deviated nasal septum, as well as an extremely malpositioned tooth and fixed orthodontic appliances, and also if the patient has latex allergy. So now moving on to the armamentarium of rubber dam. So each armamentarium we will discuss in detail. So these are the armamentarium required. These are known as rubber dam template. Okay. So the one which is bigger in size, 6 into 6 size, is used in adult patients. The one is smaller in size, 5 into 5 inch, is used for mixed dentition cases. 6 into 6 inch and 5 into 5 inch. They are available in dark colors such as grey, blue and green color in order to provide a good contrast to the tooth. Each sheet has both shiny surface as well as dull surface. Okay, the dull surface should be placed facing the operator, whereas shiny surface should be placed facing into the patient mouth. Because the dull surface is less reflective, it will not create a greater disturbances while working. And sheet is available in various thicknesses also, such as thin, medium, heavy, extra heavy and special heavy. Thin and medium dams are used for endodontic procedures where we do only a single tooth isolation, whereas if you want to do a multiple tooth isolation, such as in case of bleaching, class 2 restorations, multiple restorations in a single appointment, then it is better to use heavy and extra heavy because they are very much tear resistant. Now we will move on to the next armamentarium. So this is rubber dam frame. So rubber dam frames are available in a plastic frame and metal frame. What I am holding here is a plastic rubber dam frame. So it has a retentive pegs. The sheet, after you place into the patient mouth along with the retainer, these retentive pegs will help hold the sheet in its place. Okay, so that the sheet will not fall back onto the patient mouth and fall back into the patient face, so that it will provide a clear operating field. So this is the use of the frame. Okay, it has a retentive pegs. It will help you to hold the rubber dam sheet in its place. Moving on to the next armamentarium, that is rubber dam punch. Once you mark the holes on the rubber dam sheet by using the template, then you punch the holes. Okay, so here you can see there is a rotating discs with a smaller holes and larger holes. Smaller holes are used for incisor canine and premolars, whereas larger holes are used for molars, and it has a plunger. Okay, so once we mark the sheet, the marked according to the tooth what I am punching, you have to select the hole size and then accordingly punch the sheet. Next, moving on to the next armamentarium, that is rubber dam forceps. These rubber dam forceps are of two types. Okay, so this is the Stokes forceps and this is the Ivory forceps. So both of them are used to place the clamp, to remove the clamp, as well as to adjust the clamp. So the next armamentarium is rubber dam clamps. So these are the various rubber dam clamps. Okay, so they are color coded as well as number coded. As you can see, this butterfly shaped clamp is the anterior clamp, and this green color and brown color are for premolars, and this orange color and this sky blue color are for molars, and all these upper row clamps are used in a specialized situation wherein the patient has a partially erupted tooth. Now we will discuss classification of clamps. So based on the material, we have a metallic clamp and a non-metallic clamps. So here what I am having is a metallic clamp, and also the other classification is based on the tooth to which we will apply, based on the anchor tooth. So if we are applying on anterior, it is called anterior clamp, premolar clamp, molar clamp. So based on the jaw design. So before discussing based on the jaw design, first we'll discuss the parts of the clamp. Okay. So first, so this is the molar clamp what I am holding. So this is known as jaws. The interconnecting the jaws, this is known as bow. Bow always connects two jaws, and the sharp projections are called prongs, and these are called holes. Okay. So you have an anterior wing and lateral wing. So the smaller wing is the anterior wing, and the larger wing at the side is called as lateral wing. Okay. So these are the parts of the clamp. What I am holding is a molar clamp, and it is a winged molar clamp. So now I said we will classify the clamp based on the jaw design. If you see these two clamps, the one on my right hand side, the jaws are directed towards each other like this. Okay. So such clamps are called bland clamps. Whereas here if you see, the jaws are gingivally directed. So the jaws are generally gingivally directed. So such clamps are called retentive clamps. So both bland and retentive clamps are further classified as winged and wingless clamps. Okay. So this is how you can classify the clamps. One is based on the jaw design, based on the anchor tooth what we apply, and based on the material. Okay. So now we will see the next armamentarium, that is wedget. Whenever when you do a multiple tooth isolation, so it will provide a added retention in multiple tooth isolation. Now the next component is dental floss. This is your dental floss. Okay. Dental floss plays two important roles during rubber dam application. One is we will check for the contacts. Okay. So accordingly we will select the dam sheet, thickness of the rubber dam sheet. And the second important role of dental floss is you can tie the floss onto the clamp like this, so that it will prevent the accidental swallowing of the clamp whenever you apply the clamp in the posterior most teeth. And the other components armamentarium of rubber dam are rubber dam lubricant and rubber dam napkin. Lubricant you generally apply, these are the water based gels on the punched holes, okay, so that you can easily pass the rubber dam into the contact areas. And other component is rubber dam napkin. It is a soft absorbent paper usually placed between the patient face and the sheet. Generally it will absorb the saliva drooling from the corners of the mouth. So now in the next session we will see how to apply the rubber dam. Now I will be demonstrating how to do a application of rubber dam on a phantom head. So now I am demonstrating a single tooth isolation, wherein we do single tooth isolation generally for endodontic procedures. There are three techniques mainly here. So first technique is clamp placement prior to rubber dam, and the second technique is both clamp and rubber dam are placed together. Okay. And the third technique is clamp placement after the rubber dam sheet application. So I am demonstrating second technique, that is clamp and rubber dam are placed together outside the patient mouth and carried together into the patient mouth. So first is there is preparation of the patient and the preparation of the dam. In the preparation of the patient, so you should advise oral prophylaxis for the patient teeth, all the teeth. As well as in the second, you should apply a Vaseline lubrication for the lips and the corners of the mouth. And the next is preparation of the dam. So first is you have to pass the dental floss and check for the contacts. Pass the dental floss and the mesial contact area and the distal contact area, and accordingly you will select the thickness of the dam, whether to use a thin dam in case of tighter contacts, and in case of medium contacts you can use a medium dam. Once you do that, and once you select the dam material, next you have to take a template. So this is the template, 6 into 6 inch template, as well as the 6 into 6 inch size sheet. Based on the average position of the tooth, here the template demonstrates the 3/6. Based on the average position of the tooth, you have to mark on the sheet. So now I am marking, I am placing a marking as well as one reference mark here. Now once you mark the sheet, you have to punch the holes. Before punching the holes, as I am doing on a molar 3/6, I am applying a rubber dam on a 3/6. So adjust the larger hole size. So then wherever you are marked, keep the mark in the exact position and punch a neat hole. Once you have punched a hole, you can observe a clean, neat punched hole here. Next is selection of the retainer. As I am applying on a mandibular molar, so this is the mandibular molar clamp. We have to check for the fit and the retention of the retainer. Okay, now check the fit and retention of the mandibular molar retainer. So now I am removing. Before engaging the clamp onto the sheet, you can observe a dental floss is tied onto the bow. Okay, so this will prevent the accidental swallowing of the retainer in the patient mouth. So this is always advised to tie the floss onto the clamp. So now I have engaged the clamp onto the sheet. Now both of them together I will carry into the patient mouth with the help of a rubber arm forceps. Forceps is necessary to place, to adjust and to remove the clamp. Exactly at the CEJ, at the gingival margin, you have to engage the clamp. Now, it's time to place the frame. Whenever you are using a plastic frame, it is always placed behind the rubber dam sheet, and this sheet is engaged to the retentive pegs like this. And this floss free end can be kept open or you can tie it to the frame. Before that, here you can see there is a nasal obstruction with the sheet. Always you have to fold the sheet so that patient airway is not blocked with your sheet. And once you do this, and the next step is to disengage the wings from the sheet from the wings. Now I am doing that step. You have to disengage the sheet from both the wings. Okay. So now this is the completed rubber dam application for a single tooth isolation. So once you do this, you should check for the accessibility and the visibility. Mouth mirror. So as you can see, I have a good accessibility and visibility. Okay, there is no obstruction. So this is complete. So and there is a better transillumination of the light with the mouth mirror. So now only one tooth is exposed outside, remaining all the tooth is present behind the rubber dam sheet. Okay, so this is how you will apply the rubber dam. Now we will see how to remove the rubber dam. Once the procedure is done, once the cavity preparation, base application and restoration is done, okay, now you have to apply the rubber dam. Once you remove, then you will check for the high points in the restoration. So we will see how to remove the rubber dam. First step to remove the rubber dam is to remove the retainer. Engage the forceps into the holes, gently remove the retainer. See, now I have removed the retainer. Now the entire setup comes in a one go. Both the frame as well as the sheet comes together. Okay. So once you remove, inspect for any remnants of rubber dam sheet into the patient mouth. If there are any remnants of the rubber dam sheet in the interdental area, then with the help of a dental floss, you can remove those remnants. Okay. So later we can wipe the patient lip with the help of gauze, and then you can ask the patient to rinse his mouth. Finally you massage the gingival tissues and inspect for rubber dam sheet. If there are any remnants, please remove it. Thank you.